Just turned 25 last week on Friday, and here's a list of things that I wrote that I have learned my 25 years of life. This is something that I will actually tell my teenage self, and I will want them to do what I say. I don't know. The crazy is, I'm not sure my teenage self was in a state of mind that they could understand whatever I'm saying right now. Because, sometimes some of us have gone through those times in our lives. I feel like everyone, yeah, you have those days in your life where you are like having your prime, breakless and miserable, and going through like the most toughest times of your life. So I think my teenage self was that kind of person. And I don't think she had the mind that I have. She didn't have the courage I have. She didn't have the mindset that I have right now. She didn't even have a single thing. She couldn't even have 100 shillings to buy anything. So I believe that when let's say if it's possible, you can travel in time and change something or tell someone something, if that was possible, I could carry this list with me, and I have only 10. Just like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 list of the lessons that I have learned and how I wish things could have been done if I had to change anything about it. The first thing I will tell my teenage self is this. I will tell her she should never let religion, race, tribe, or maybe level of education or standard or whatever limit her from knowing people, getting to meet people, and just like diving into everything. So this is what I'll tell her instead. I will tell her to be open-minded. I'll tell her to be mindful, and I'll tell her to just be very liberal as possible. Being somebody who was born in a family that had two parents from different religions, I can tell you for sure that I do know the most hardest part when it comes to such situations. I do know that so many times when our parents had an agreement or disagreement over issues to do with religion, it was the most messiest of things. And personally, I think I grew up to learn from that, and I was so open. I never like faced somebody or came to someone thinking and asking them which religion are you, because I feel like that's not a factor. That's not a factor if you want to know someone, or if you want to just interact, or whatever it is you want to do, or even if you're not looking for anything, just don't be that close-minded person. And at this point of life, it means that you can be able to invite people in your life. You can invite the most best people, because I have worked with a couple of people that I didn't even know their religion, and some I even came to know as like, oh, you're also this, okay, and that's it. Like, how is that defining you? Like, I don't know, I've never thought about it. I've never been that person who thinks and goes to people like, oh, why are you not a Muslim, or why are you a Christian, or why are you a Buddhist, or whatever. There's so many religions right now, over I don't know how many. The ones I know, there are only like 5, so I know there are so many. And I will tell my little self that that's just what people have decided to identify with themselves. In as much as religion is very important, actually to me it is very important, but you shouldn't like face someone with that perspective, going to like you only want to associate with a specific religion. Like, who the hell are you? Are you the one who made people? Like, why are you thinking like that actually? The second thing I will tell my teenage self, or just like my past self, because now I'm 25, I'm brand new. This means like 24 and below is like my past right now. So I'm 25 years old for like 3 days. Yeah, and it's a good thing. So I will tell my younger self to declutter every single thing that is not important, whether it's friendship, whether it's relationship, whether it's family, whether it's clothes, whether it's dishes, anything that you don't need, declutter. And you always know that you don't need, but you keep trying. And the funny thing is, what I don't know what happened to us humans, but I feel like it's so easy to persuade on something that is actually killing you, especially if it has to do with your mental health. You can actually die for it. That's how we die for those jobs that kill us. And the things that now make us have the peace, we never are ready to face, because it's always an oblivion. It's like an oblivion. It's like something new, something you have never experienced. No one has ever told you this is how it goes. And it's very scary to make that step. Personally, I remember when I lost one of my jobs. When I lost one of my jobs, I actually went there to beg. That was in 2022. That was my second job. I went to beg to ask them if they can actually take me back. Because the situation was tough. The situation was tough. I didn't have any money. I didn't have rent. I didn't have anything. And then I didn't want to go back home actually. Because I don't know, there's this thing in me just telling me you need to start your own life, you need to do. I wasn't comparing myself to anyone, because at that time most of my friends were not around, because after campus, what happens, people are separated. So I was like so into this thing of just having my own life. I don't want to know how. So at this point I was begging these people, and I was telling them, please let me in, let me come to your job, at least just give me a second chance. And you know why they fired me? This is now the most worst thing to even remember. So they fired me because I was sick. Yeah, so even if they see this video, I don't care. They fired me because I was sick. I was sick for like 3 days. Actually, not 3 days. Actually, the fourth day I came because I was so scared to lose my job. Only that I was scared to lose a job that I had already lost. So I was so scared. I went to work on the fourth day. Yet I was feeling bad. Remember, I was feeling very bad. Then I went. I spent the whole day there. No one is telling me anything. Fear your colleagues, by the way. Fear them. No one is telling me anything. Yet they had hired someone else the previous day. Then after the whole session and just like the whole day ending, now the director calls me and tells me he wants to pay me half of the money because it was in the middle of the month. So I'm like, why do you want to pay me? I want to wait. This world is crazy. Before you get to understand yourself, you must go through all that. So he actually told me that. I was so shocked. I tried asking him, why do you want to pay me yet it's not the end of the month? And then we conversed there, and he told me, you know what, you are this lazy and blah blah. Yeah, I was lazy too, that one too, I do admit. But I wasn't like not doing my work. I was quite lazy with my morning. Waking up very early in the morning has always been a challenge to my life. I think at this point I'm working on it, and I feel like having peace helps you to work on the things that you're bad at. But the moment you don't have peace, you'll struggle forever running after one thing and another. Yet you'll never get it until you find peace first. You find peace first. You have to find peace. After you find peace, actually you'll even start to find your own self, because the moment you find your own self, you'll not be scared of anything. In as much as it becomes quite more scary, because now you start to view things very differently. You do have this kind of just like, I don't know how I can call it. You have a discernment, like you can tell. It's so easy to make the right choices. That's what I'm trying to mean, because you can tell when it's right and wrong. And I feel like when I was 22 years old, the time that I was being sacked from work and coming back to beg, I wasn't in a position where I actually understood what I wanted and whatever. And I was just thinking about getting the money. And you think it's a lot of money? No, it wasn't a lot of money. It was the most little amount of money I was ever paid. Not that I'm bragging, but I just didn't know how much I can like do, and how much like I can put out there and things work out. I don't know. I just didn't know at that point. And if I was to talk to that girl right now, I will tell her not to beg. She should leave those people, because that environment was not actually workable. it was a lot of pressure. There was so much pressure. There was so much of, you can't even like make a phone call. The moment you make a phone call, they come for you. Like, why are you making a phone call? And God, but here we are, we survived. But that's the end of survival. I mean, personally, I'm tired of survival mode, and I'm just feeling life. I'm just living it. I just want to enjoy every single moment. And that's why you can see me right now trying to go to events, going outside and all that. I've been inside for like 2 years, and that's quite a long time. But it was just time for me to like push myself down and reflect and think. Because actually, the 2 years were the most difficult of my whole entire life, apart from the other crazy years back then. So those 2 years were the most difficult, I can say, because I was just like getting out of school. When you get out of school, it's like out here, it's like a new place. It's like you don't know anything. You're like starting over. So it was a start over thingy for like a year. Then last year, I lost my dad and some of my friends. It was quite crazy, and you know, it needed a lot of attention. So I'll say the last 2 years needed a lot of attention. And that's why I did have plans of doing content creation, but I never had to because I didn't even have the courage to hold the camera and put it in front of me. So I had to wait until I'm ready. And I'll say this as well. There's no better time. There's no time you'll ever be ready, because I feel like everything is content. It's just that at that point, my mind was not able to think about it. And I was not even able to go follow up with podcasts that are telling me what I need to know, maybe. And maybe not reading books that are now I am currently reading. And I feel like that is the best portion I had to choose for my soul. Because after a long day, when I just read only one page, I feel like it's the best thing to ever do. Most cases, I just read a page or two in a day. I don't even read like a whole book, because why should I? It's zero pressure, and I have so many things piled up in the whole day. I can't be reading the whole day because I'm also still trying to regain back my reading, because I never used to read like for from 2018 to this year. That's how many years? 2018, 2024. That's like 6 years. 6 years. So for 6 years, I was not reading. So I cannot just go back and start reading 20 books. That's quite impossible. So I've been reading like 1 page, 2 pages, an article a day, next 2 articles, like, just random stuff. And I feel like it's way better. It's better than what I was doing in my past 2 years, because my past 2 years was just crying, eating, sleeping, dancing. Well, I don't know what it was, by the way, because if you could tell me to take any accountability, I will actually not be. I don't know what I'll say, because it's so much. I feel like even if I was to say, I would like write 20 pages, just explaining one issue, then another page, 20 other pages explaining another issue, and so it's quite chaotic. But here we are, and we're no longer surviving. That's something you should also remove from your mind. You're not ready to survive. You're going to live life. The more you think of survival, the more you survive. The more you think of living your life, that's the more you live. So, personally, I'm choosing to live life. Survival mode is not my case. That's not. Here's the third thing I will tell my teenage self. I will tell her to be in the present. She should never be too anxious to think about the future, or never be too depressed to think about the past. Because this is the thing, the past is already gone. The future, I don't even know how it looks like. Why am I even thinking about it? Something I don't know how it looks like. I think at this point, I've started to relearn the things that I never had somebody to teach me that directly. People were there, but they were saying random stuff. You have to collect them and put them together and think about it. No one ever told me, like, face to face, this is how it's going to be. And even if they said it, they said the opposite. And now I'm just like, the opposite is the truth. It's very crazy. But don't worry. I'm not here to advise you, because I'm not your therapist. I'm not your local advisor or whatever. I'm just talking and you can write a few points that you feel like are good for you. Because personally, I will sit down and write whatever I'm saying. I have very much confidence, and I feel like at this point of my life, I feel like I just can't handle people's opinions, in the sense that I don't care about them, one, and then another. I just don't know what they're thinking. Why should I even care? And even if they say it loudly, those are not facts. They're just opinions. And this just remind me, someone just texted me something. And for a moment, I thought they were not texting me. It is crazy how you humans think that you know everyone. Personally, I'm also a human. Sometimes I think I know someone. And it's just not very proper to text someone and tell them like they're this is how they are. Yet that's not it. Like it's crazy. I can't really tell you the whole information because I'm not part of the Moshene foundation or whatever. So I'll just tell you it's crazy. You shouldn't be thinking for others. And when you realize that whatever people are going to say about you doesn't really matter, you will never, ever allow yourself to even think about it. You'll always be doing what is good for you. Yeah, so whether we like it or not, no one has a clue of 100% how life is and how it will end, and unless the creator, no one has that clue. So I don't feel like there's somebody who is supposed to be coming and telling you this and that. You can read as many books as you want, you can watch as many podcasts, as many shows, as many whatever. You can do as many things as you want, but as long as you haven't like connected with your real self, it will take you a very long time to ever do anything. Because I remember when I first started connecting with myself, it was easy for me to even go for a morning run. Who would have thought, like who would have thought I will wake up like a crazy person and go run on the road? And in an, those environments that people run, and it's very normal. Like where I stay, it's not like that. It's a block area, it's a street. There is no way. But anyway, I don't care. That's why I just run. The moment you start to care what, especially what negative people say or think, it will ruin everything about you. So you need to be very, very careful. And I don't care if you decide to listen to me. All I know is I care, and at the same time I don't care. Like the world is so crazy. There's so much paradox. You can choose to believe whatever you wanna believe. As much as you care, you shouldn't care. It's crazy. But anyway, bye.